Hello, everyone. This is Christian Ramos, Christian with no age. I was born in Honduras, came to the United States undocumented when I was 13 years old. I was raised in a dysfunctional family. So, my dad and my mother separated when I was 6 years old. My mother later migrated to the U.S. in search for better opportunities. Back in 1998, Hurricane Mitch destroyed, devastated Central America's economy. And as a result of that, there was not employment, and that's how my parents made it to the U.S. My mother, particularly, my father made it to New York. They were separated, but I was left with my grandmother, and I was raised by her from the time I was 6 years old to 13. That's when I reunited with my mother. My grandmother got sick, arthritis. She was diagnosed with cancer, so we were expecting divorce, and out of desperation and not knowing what to do, my mother decided to, bring her children, through the very dangerous pathway, traveling through Central America and Mexico, trying to search the border and cross to the United States. Is a very dangerous travel and trip for, especially for a 13-year-old, 15-year-old. So it was a tough time for my life. When I got here, I went to South Hall Middle School in Gainesville, Georgia, and I enrolled there. I was, non-native speaker, obviously, as you can probably tell with my accent, but I later went through the ESL program, and I made it to high school. I graduated there in '07, and unfortunately, I was not able to attend college right away. Why? Because I was only a TPS holder. TPS was extended to Central Americans who were affected by the Hurricane Mitch of 1998. So I was able to be granted with TPS, but that was not enough grounds to receive in-state tuition. And so I was not able to receive financial aid, and that basically led me to a different pathway. I went to work to the poultry industry in Gainesville. We are known as the poultry capital of the world, and witness of the poultry industry because I worked there, deboning, live hanging, working with produce directly. So I remember being frustrated because I saw my future being trapped in the walls of that poultry plant. Seeing the bloody floors and the feathers and the smells, and I wonder many times, will I spend my whole time here in this place? When would I be able to go back to school and have progress in my life like any other American citizen? So I went through that stage in my life where I doubted the system. I doubted the American dream, and not only that, but I was even though I was able to drive and work, and I appreciate those opportunities, I was not able to go to school. And unfortunately, one Wednesday night after church service, I made it back to my house, planning to go to work the next day, and I was stopped by ICE and Hall County Sheriff Department, and I was detained for 33 days. Also, my sister was taken to a different detention center in Alabama, and she spent there more than 2 months. So after 33 days, they went and backed me back to my cells. They came and got me, and they said that it was a mistake, that the system had generated a wrong alien number for me, and that in that alien number, my file had a deportation order. So after 33 days, they found out that it was a mistake. They went and got me to the cell, and I was released. Unfortunately, by that time, I had lost my job. My criminal record was damaged, and I have, put in a cycle that I didn't know how to get out. It was a immigration system that I didn't know how it worked, and being limited, I became a victim of it. Thank God I was able to later, through a petition of my stepfather, who was a U.S. citizen, switch from TPS status to permanent residence. So I was able to go to school, enrolled in college. I'm actually a student at UNG, and I was able to make it there when I was 23 years old as a non-traditional student. So my story, has that part, how tough it can be, given the lack of opportunities that you might have, given the barriers that you have to cross. But also it's a life of change, thanks to the exposure that I received in church the brothers and sisters that allowed me to see in me a potential, I was able to keep my hope up and continue despite everything. When I was not able to go to school at UNG, I was taking online classes and everything. But I tell people now, get involved. It doesn't matter how your limitations look like. It doesn't matter how tall the walls are. You can always overcome them. If there's a will, there's a way, and that's quickly something I learned from the American culture, and I've been a witness of that. Yes, there are things and realities that, as migrants, as undocumented people, we have to face, and we need to get involved. Now I'm working on a political campaign for a U.S. Senate candidate, and even though I cannot vote myself, I'm asking people to register to vote, to be part of the political system, because your voice is your vote, and if you don't use it, the system doesn't know who you are, and that's how democracy is meant to work. So I urge anybody that is listening to me, if you feel related to my story, if you can see similarities as I was speaking, I urge you not to give up. I know that the system might be broken and that we need to deal with it, but becoming cynical and turning our face to the side will not fix anything. Matter of fact, that would only lead to more people being harmed. That will lead to more people being affected. So quitting is never an option. And once you have been affected personally, like myself, it is your duty and your responsibility to get involved and try to make the system better. So bringing humanity, uploading humanity to the system, humanizing what otherwise could be considered a broken and inhumane system, has to do with us getting involved in whatever level we can, in whatever aspects we can. There's never a reason to say I cannot help. You can help from home. Right now with the internet access, we can connect people through the internet. We can help people register to vote by online registrations through many websites that are available out there. So, as a non-documented student for a while, as a migrant, I know the realities that are faced by other immigrants, and I understand that part of the system, that we don't know how it works, and as a result, we become a victim of it. And I was a victim of the system for a while, but also I know that if we put effort and focus on changing the system, you and I, we can come together and join forces to improve it, to upload humanity into a system that we understand needs to be upgraded, needs to be improved, and needs to be fixed. So with that, I want to leave you. I urge you to get involved at the local level, at your neighborhoods, in your local community. Get involved. If there's a will, there's a way. Thank you so much, and I hope you learned something out of this.